Hi and hello watch fans and welcome back to Geneva Watch Days 2025. We're live outside the Pavillon with Sohaib Maghnam of two brands, CEO of Beda'a and the founder, owner and genius behind the very creative brand Maghnam. As you know, Sohaib, I am a co-owner of Archanaut and a fan of experimental case design, so your Maghnams have caught my attention long ago and I'm really grateful for you to be here today to talk to us about both Maghnam and Beda'a. So welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
I heard a rumor that this is your first ever podcast.
It really is, and I'm worried I wouldn't do a very good job at it, but we'll see.
It's going well so far. You know,
I
you've
hope
made
so.
it almost a minute in and you haven't messed up yet. But
No, not yet.
It is live. There's still plenty of time for that. Okay, so tell us about your experience with Geneva Watch Days as a fair. Is this your first time here, second time? What do you think of the experience?
Not my first time, nor my second time. I used to come as a visitor. I would spend some time touring the hotels just like everyone else, and then also in the tent. But the past couple of years, it became as a participant. Mostly with Beda'a, but also with Maghnam because I have the private appointments where I can see my clients, show them the new things, and perhaps also deliver a few pieces. It's a wonderful show for us. It's I would say the best time throughout the year to be around watch people. You know, with Watches and Wonders, we have to compete with the publishing schedules of Rolex and Patek. So it's more difficult then, and it's much more formal. Geneva Watch Days is I feel like, you know, it's a bunch of watch nerds who come together and talk about the thing they love most. So I really enjoy it.
And as a younger set of brands, without obviously going into the finer details, what are you looking at in terms of that investment? Because obviously there's a clear investment into coming here. There's obviously a return, or you wouldn't keep coming back.
Of course.
But what goes through your mind as you're considering whether or not you want to be part of the show like this?
If I'm honest, we don't think of it in a way that I'm gonna put this much in and am I gonna get the same amount out during this week or not? Because I don't think that's applicable at all. You have to think about it in a way that okay, I'm a new brand. I know that very few people globally know this brand, and the idea here is to show up, tell people that you're here, show them the stuff that you can do, because it has to be organic growth. With both brands, with Maghnam and Beda'a, we never want to be like a one-hit wonder to put out one watch and then disappear. And to do that, you have to build trust with the people. You have to show up. It's an investment for sure. But if you have cool stuff to show, and if you surround yourself with the right people, I feel like 100% it's worth it.
These are definitely cool watches, which I've used this joke before, but it's appropriate because in this igloo, it's very hot. So I think what would be great is before we started recording, you explained to me the philosophy behind both brands, because they are very different. So if you're only listening to this on an audio feed, they're very different. So if you could please walk us through the philosophy between or underpinning each of them, and then the sort of funny anecdote which sort of ties them together in your mind.
So I'm not going to take it back all the way, but just to tell you, I made my first watch back in 2018. I had just graduated and I wanted to create a watch. And I did a chronograph inspired by my favorite chronograph, which is the 6265, the Rolex. And then I went on Kickstarter, much like everyone else, and I wanted to put it there. And then I saw 15 other chronographs and 15 other divers, and they all kind of look the same. And I thought, okay, if I want to do this, I want to do this my way. I want to do something that's very different. And this is where Maghnam started. So I started working on something it tells time, but it's an art form that tells time. And this is why we call them form 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a different form every time. And then slowly but surely, Maghnam grew. In 2023, the founder of Beda'a, he was a client. He was a customer for a Maghnam watch, Sohaib actually. He called me up. He said, I want to order this watch. Okay, fine. A couple of days later, he calls me again. And he says, you know what? I want to start a brand. I want to start a brand. Would you like to lead that? And I said, we had a few back and forth discussion points. But as long as I can do Beda'a and Maghnam separately, I'm on board. And they were really understanding of that particular point. And they give me the creativity and the freedom to do what I want to do. And so that's how Beda'a started. What we were discussing before is that with Maghnam, for sure, I design for myself because it's something that I want to see in a watch. And with Beda'a, I design for the people. So I know that people would like a a cool watch, but it's not something that would maybe break the bank, and it's not something that they've seen a million times before. So as long as I can do both this way, I'm happy.
So in your mind, they're very separate. What about in your clients' minds? Do you have any overlap in terms of those who are buying one versus the other?
In one particular case, which is the Eclipse line, the Eclipse is our flagship. We introduced the Eclipse, which Rob has now in his hands, back in 24, and that was the very first watch that I started working on after I joined Beda'a. It's the one that's most Sohaib, I would say, and so the crossover between the two clientele happens exclusively on the Eclipse lineup. But we are seeing more and more love being given towards the entry point, even to Beda'a with the angles, and so I feel like with time there might be more of a crossover, but for now it's just that.
Talk to us about price points here, because I just showed the Form 4 into the camera there, and that is one of the craziest cases I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's got shades of De Betoon, shades of Urwerk, but it's its own thing. Something very, very special. Yeah. Reminds me a little bit of a Crivio when I turn it over on the back and I see some of the affixations.
Those are big names.
They're big names, right? And normally with that kind of design and that kind of complexity, what we expect along with big names is big prices.
Yeah.
But that isn't the case.
So Muharib is 6,500 Swiss francs. And, it's not easy to price it at that point, because I know that if I charge more, I know that I would be able to sell this watch just the same. But going back to the point that I was talking about, if you want to build trust with people, if you want to grow a community about the watches that you do, I think it's always important to try and price it competitively as much as you can, at least in the beginning, because I want people to be able to take the risk and buy the watch and see that, oh my God, like this watch is actually worth the money, and it's worth even more of that money. And so that allows me to take a bigger risk next time and build something even crazier and reach a higher price point, not just for the sake of it, not just for a higher price point, but there are some complexities that I want to include in the watch, but I simply cannot because of the price point. Next time, if people trust the brand, if people are willing to take that bigger risk, I'm able to do that, starting with a Muharib, basically.
Okay, so you've almost answered the question that I had locked in my brain. That there was something you said that really piqued my interest, and that was you wanted to let people get access to these watches, to take a risk on something. I've worked with some risky independents in the past that have been trying to do things differently, and they've also had in mind that they should price their watches very competitively so that they offer a value proposition. But the problem they've all run into over time is that they created a rod for their own back by putting themselves in a lower price point, when realistically, if that watch were made by Omega, it'd be 20K. Yeah. No doubt. Is that special? Now, so that's a funny thing, because you think, well, does a low price really make so much of a difference when we're dealing in the kind of figures that we are? 6,500 for that watch is an absolute steal, but it's still 6,500 francs. Now, if I saw that, I would think I would pay at least 15 for it. I'm not going to give you 15,000 because you've only asked for 6.5. And I can imagine, and this is how I think you answered the question very well, because you're going to develop new models in the future. You're going to bring out new stuff, so the price point will sort of organically come up to the place where it should be.
It's this word, it's organic growth.
Right, okay. So, fair enough. I assume and actually hope that the Form 4, which is my favourite of the cases, sticks around in the collection.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, if that is to happen and that is to remain at relative to that price point, I'm sure it'll have to go up a bit over time, but it will be more anchored to that lower end. People are getting a bargain, an absolute bargain. Like it looks like it has to be 5 figures. I'm sorry, like the strap is incredible, the finishing is superb, like the Velcro on the strap. To mention Urwerk again, Urwerk does great Velcro.
Yeah.
It's not something you normally mention in luxury watchmaking. Yeah. Charles makes a beautiful neon yellow strap on their 18,000 Maestro tennis special edition. This scratches all those itches for a fraction of the price.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to Sylvain Berneron before he founded Berneron, before he released the Mirage. And he originally wanted to price the Mirage much lower as his gift to the industry. Yeah. And I said to him, Sylvain, the gift to the industry is your genius, it's your design, it's the watch. It is a gift. You don't have to crucify yourself because you're a kind guy. Yeah. And you want to give something back. Like, you need to make money. You need to make this work.
Yeah.
So when's it going to happen? When are we going to see Maghnam get to that price point? How quickly should people be trying to buy one of these before they escape the realms of mortal men?
Realistically speaking, it will creep up in price, but with Muharib specifically, since it's also become kind of the face of the brand, it's never going to be like a huge jump. Now, I think with running two brands, and I'm unwilling to put out a new watch just because it's a new watch, so it has to be the right watch. The 2025 release that was originally planned was cancelled after the prototyping phase because I just did not feel it was up to what I want to put out. So now it's a 2026 release, and it's coming, and naturally it's going to be more expensive than both Muharib and Noor. The thing is, again, something that I like to touch on is, as someone who doesn't come from Switzerland, I'm Palestinian Jordanian and I grew up in Jordan. It's not as easy for us to break into the industry. It's more of a challenge, and it requires more of a trust, let's say, from potential clientele. So, it's something that I simply had to do because I don't have a permanent presence in Geneva. When I first started, I couldn't even afford to come to Geneva to show the watches. So sometimes you really need to do what you have to do to get a few people to take that risk and see the watch.
After we're done recording, I'll share with you the dinner story from Rob and I yesterday on Geneva pricing. I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah. And by the way, there's a magic number now in Geneva pricing, and I think we all know, like, there's a number, 80K. Whenever you go now, you'll hear, how much is this? It's 80K. How much is that? It's 80K. If they want to give you a bargain, it's 75.
So just one comment I wanted to make was, that's a really interesting business model that you mentioned earlier, where you have an icon that you try and keep as consistent as possible. And then you use that as an entry point to then get people into the higher end stuff.
Absolutely.
And it's definitely something that you see elsewhere.
Yeah.
But I can't think of anywhere else that it's being done in watches, because most companies will just say, well, everything goes up. And, it's up to the consumer to find their way in. But I think it's a really, I don't know if responsible is the right word, but it's a very unique approach in this industry to do it that way.
Yeah, actually, the more I hear the justification for it and the thought behind it, the more I see, that could kind of work, but not with every brand. But I think because of the nature of Maghnam, that strikes me as a brand that will have a lot of repeat custom. Like, you will have the same guys buying every watch that you do.
Yeah.
It's like nothing else. Once you buy into the family, buy into the bug, then it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Looking at it that way, then Form 4 is basically like an entry card to the whole game.
Yeah.
And then you're going to want to buy everything else. Because, like, well, I've already saved 10,000 by buying this watch, so I've got 10,000 more to spare for the next one.
A very large percentage of Noor, which is Form 5, what I have on my wrist right now, are repeat customers from Form 4.
Yeah.
So it's true.
Yeah.
I really cannot stress enough, if you have a chance to handle them, handle them. This is not something I ever would have seen had I not been here doing this. And they just look and feel like nothing else. And okay, fine, like, we're on a podcast, we're with the brand, but seriously, it's really cool. It's very affordable, and get your hands on one if you can.
So that's a good question, actually, because I'm in the process of trying to sell as many of my watches as I can because I want cash. But as soon as I get that cash, I know I'm going to start buying more watches again. So actually, this is a watch that I genuinely, and I'm not just saying this on air, I don't say this very often, I would like to own that, because I could imagine wearing it every day. It's extremely light, low profile. I'm a huge fan of, like, fluorescent yellow, green, whatever we want to call it. So I think it's a stunning. That's my go-to word. When I say it, I mean it. It's a stunning piece. I love it.
Thank you.
But how do I get one? Because is it limited in number? Is it limited in production? Tell us how to get one.
We don't usually do limited, and I'm kind of against doing limited unless it's like for a really special piece and really low numbers. Maghnam works on order, so people order the watch, we build it for them, and then we deliver it a while later. It depends a lot on the time of year. It depends a lot on the demand, because it's waves, up and down throughout the year. But I don't do limited, and it's for a good reason, because I feel like if I limit everything, I also limit myself and my ability to produce something new. It's a good watch, and again, at the price that it is, if I limit it to a certain number, business-wise, it really would not be possible at all. And while it is a project that is purely driven by passion and my love for watches and watchmaking, at the end of the day, it's a business. And if it's not a business, I could not keep doing this and could not keep making watches. So,
Now, if someone wants to order one, can they talk directly to you?
yeah, so there's a form on the website that they can fill, but they also can send me messages on Instagram, the maghnam.st. That's the official Instagram for the brand. Some people actually reach out to me on my personal Instagram. It works either way.
Very good. And it is just you at the moment, is it?
So I do design, technical development, but I do get the help of other people with the prototyping.
Right.
But then I also do a lot of the assembly, even though I do have help here in Switzerland with the assembly. Production, of course, I have to outsource to many different suppliers, but I do quite a lot of this company. Yeah.
And touching on communications, because of course that's what we do as well. You're working with everybody's favorite PR agency in Switzerland, right?
I really am. 289, yeah.
So what's the experience been like with 289?
We touched on this before the podcast. It's really been amazing. We haven't been with them for a long time, so I'm with them with both Maghnam and Beda'a, and it hasn't been long. It actually been less than a year. But you know, as someone who's been a fan of the industry and in the industry for a while, I understand how it works now, and I understand that you really need people who are better at communication than you are, and I suck at communication. So they really helped me by simply connecting me to the right people at the right time. And we all like watches, but I wouldn't have had the chance to sit down with you and talk with you if it wasn't for 289. So.
And it's resulted in quite an accolade already, hasn't it?
No.
You've just been nominated for GPHG.
We're very happy. We're very glad. The Beda'a Eclipse, so the watch that we launched in 2024 and represents the flagship for Beda'a, has been selected as the top 6 for the GPHG challenge category. We're really happy about it. Yeah.
Nice.
Congratulations. Will you be attending the event?
I will. Yeah, I will.
So I think we're about to wrap up, but I think what I wanted to say here is that what we talked about is really only a fraction of what we actually discussed prior to the reporting.
Yes.
And I think you have this like really refreshing take on just approaching watchmaking, but you're also not afraid to share pretty much everything, it sounds like. So it'd be really great. I have no idea, Rob, what the recording schedule looks like, but a full-length episode here, I think we could definitely touch on a lot of different things. So maybe look for that in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd be happy to, for sure.
We will definitely get you back on. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for taking the time out.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed this, guys.
It's a real pleasure. So now you're a podcast addict. You've done it once.
Yeah. I hope I did well on my first podcast.
You're a natural.
You got invited to your second already. So clearly.
Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. Join us soon again for more live content from Geneva Watch Days 2025.